What are the best ways that you support him?
Especially because I don't read media or press.
Yeah.
I'm a good barometer. I'm only looking at it through the lens of loving him.
Yeah.
So love's the only lens. Sure, we saw that in the Oprah interview where Meghan didn't have self-protective and thus self-serving motives at all.
There was no guidance as well, right? You know, unlike what you see in the movies, there's no class on how to speak, how to cross your legs.
Nobody prepares you.
No.
This just radiates love.
Nobody prepares you.
But even down to like the national anthem. No one thought to say, "Oh, you're American. You're not going to know that. That's me late at night Googling what's the national. I've got to learn this."
Lens of loving him.
Yeah.
Not reading media or press isn't something to be proud of. All it suggests is that the person saying it is hypersensitive to criticism. And more importantly, how can you be a reliable soundboard or barometer if you don't know or pretend not to know what's being said about you in the press? What has Meghan's barometer caused Harry to do? It's caused him to make private matters public.
And he was coming for my wife. She wasn't there at the time. He was shouting at me. I was shouting back at him. And he snapped. And he pushed me to the floor.
What will help nurture him and help him find balance?
Yeah.
Earlier, Meghan made a statement that revealed a lot about how she views herself and Prince Harry.
I always think about it like the end of Super Mario Brothers. Slay the dragon, save the princess. I'm like, that's my husband. And still make time for date nights.
According to Meghan's conveniently oversimplified protagonist-antagonist framework, she's a princess, and Harry's a compliant partner or servant who takes care of the dragons for her. Meghan's oversimplified protagonist-antagonist framework speaks volumes about her self-perception and lack of accountability. She's literally made Googling the national anthem and not learning how to cross her legs sound like major problems. Yet she speaks as if she's a victim, a princess at that, and as if her adversaries are like dragons that her compliant partner H takes care of for her. Adversaries could simply be people giving constructive criticism. It's ironic that Meghan implicitly refers to herself as a princess, when reality doesn't align with your self-perception. Coupled with all the things Harry's said over the years that have only added to the backlash, it doesn't seem like his balance is Meghan's top priority. Next, she tries to guide people's perception of her parenting skills. Notice her self-repair, which is telling in this regard.
When Lily grows up, what are your hopes that she would share and say about her mother?
I hope she says, I know that they'll feel like, oh my gosh, no one has ever loved someone more than the way our mom loved us.
Meghan replaces Jamie's hope, indicating uncertainty, with no, indicating certainty, and Jamie's say to feel, as if Meghan has insight into their thoughts and feelings, not only right now, but also in the future. Thus, she modifies Jamie's question in order to be able to give an even more self-aggrandizing answer. The self-repair and thus modification is very deliberate, as evidenced by Meghan's pause and subsequent slow speech rate, in order to accentuate or exaggerate more like it all the good things she knows they'll feel. Again, Meghan assumes authority over the people in her life because realistically, it's impossible to know what someone's going to feel. You can't predict or dictate someone's love. You can't know, you can only hope. But it isn't enough for Meghan to reuse Jamie's verb, hope. No, she has to act like she's omniscient. Why? Because this is all about self-aggrandizement, performing. Think of how unnatural a statement like Meghan's would be in a normal conversation. The emotionally manipulative aspect of this unnatural conversation is about to reach new lows, as Meghan calculatingly talks about an idea someone gave her. Brace yourself.
And so I'd created for the kids these email addresses that I will give them at some point in their lives when they're older. Here's your report card from today. Or, oh my gosh, you said the funniest thing this morning. Here's an email that I've been keeping for you.
I have full body chills right now.
For your whole life. I don't know, of all things, it's making me emotional.
But what exactly is it that supposedly makes Meghan emotional? Something that's actually happened. No, a self-serving scenario with a monologue that sounds like it comes straight from a pretentious romantic movie. A scenario which once again highlights Meghan's supposed qualities as a thoughtful and caring parent. Thus, Meghan makes Meghan cry. She's literally crying over her own thoughtfulness in this imagined scenario. What's even more noteworthy about that is that Meghan and Jamie are both painfully aware of performing emotions like this.
I have full body chills right now.
You're making me emotional.
This self-awareness, this performative aspect of the emotional conversation continues, casting doubt on the sincerity of the statements they make, to say the least.
Oh my gosh, she has loved us so much. It's about I see you. I'm nurturing you and I see you so deeply. This is why it's so nice to not have makeup on.
Right?
Thank you.
I like how Meghan, even though she's so overwhelmed by emotions, is able to think clearly enough to remind viewers that she's not wearing makeup, a point she and Jamie have made a big deal out of.
When you were saying, like, do you want to just do like cozies and no makeup? I like the idea of like, okay, great, let's let them see us.
She uses yet another made-up quote to calculatingly underline her qualities as a parent. So once again, Meghan makes Meghan cry. Meghan consistently chooses fantasy over reality, probably because reality could never live up to the high regard she has for herself. With performative repetitions like these, Meghan practices empathy, practices making empathetic statements in order to play on people's emotion and pity, pathos.
Oh, I don't know, I wasn't expecting that one.
No, of course not. Ironically, by trying to sound and look authentic and natural, Meghan and Jamie reveal how inauthentic and unnatural this conversation is. This isn't the type of conversation you'd have with a close friend off camera. This is the type of conversation you'd have with someone on camera, in a deliberate attempt to brand and rebrand each other.
So many of them call you M and Harry H.
Yes.
How did that start? And tell me about that.
Probably at the beginning of us dating. Yeah, I like it.
Well, I guess the remarkably short and impersonal nickname H is better than not mentioning any letters from Harry's name.
When I first met my now husband,
I call that improvement.
Oh, he's such a great partner.
Partner, as in helper, enabler, compliant perhaps. Meghan's partner, H. Nothing sounds more distancing and anonymous than that.
And there's something that is not to be taken for granted when you have a partner and a spouse who is just so behind you.
There's another layer to what Meghan's saying here. First of all, when she talks about H being supportive and being behind her, probably in a very literal sense as well. These terms sound like deceptive euphemisms for words like compliant or malleable. Same as when Meghan claimed that she only wanted someone nice and kind.
I didn't know much about him, and so the only thing that I had asked her when she said she wanted to set us up was, I had one question. I said, well, is he nice? Because if he wasn't kind, it didn't seem like it would make sense, and so we went and...
If that was the only question Meghan had, her friend could have arranged a date with a truck driver, which is how we can be sure that Meghan had more questions. Secondly, Meghan quite literally couldn't have done anything without Harry, or Harry's family more like it. Marrying into the royal family gave her a title that opened the doors to Spotify and Netflix. Not that those doors have been particularly fun to enter.
When you have a partner and a spouse...
Anything but using the word husband, it seems.
You know, I mean, H, that man loves me so much.
It's heartwarming to know that that man loves Meghan so much. Meghan's way of letting the hierarchy in their marriage be known couldn't sound any more narcissistic. I wonder what the verb loves even means in this context. Being compliant, being careful not to offend Meghan.
You know, look what we built. Built a beautiful life, and we have 2 healthy, beautiful children, and...
Millions of people have lives that live up to those criteria, so the only reason for mentioning this is to highlight her supposed happiness in a direct response to her critics.
I never would have imagined getting here at this point. I would feel just so happy and grateful, and I really do. Well, that's so nice.